In 2001, China joined the World Trade Organization. At the time, its economy was just 1/8 the size of America's. 2 decades later, it became the world's second largest economy, closing the gap faster than any country in modern history. For years, the assumption was simple: China's rise was inevitable. But now, something has changed. Growth is slowing. The property market is under pressure. Property prices are falling in major cities. Sales volumes continue to decline, and vacant units are rising even as new projects keep coming online. And for the first time in decades, the population is shrinking. Birth rates have fallen to historic lows, and the working age population is steadily declining. So, the real question isn't just whether China can overtake the United States. It's whether China already peaked, or whether this slowdown is simply the calm before another structural surge. To answer that, we need to step back from headlines and examine the mechanics of power, because overtaking is not a moment, it's a compounding process. Overtaking is not about a single year of GDP data. It's about sustained compounding across 4 structural engines: productivity, demographics, capital, and military leverage. Productivity is the most decisive because productivity is what allows a country to generate more output without adding more people. It's a factory producing twice as much with the same number of workers. It's an engineer, assisted by AI, designing in hours what once took weeks. When productivity rises, growth doesn't depend on population. Whichever country compounds these engines more effectively over the next 20 years shapes the global order. China's rise was powered by productivity gains, urbanization, infrastructure, export-led manufacturing. But that model is maturing. The era of debt-fueled expansion was never going to be permanent. The next phase requires innovation-led growth. China recognized this early. That's why the 15th Five-Year Plan prioritizes high-quality development growth built on advanced manufacturing and technology self-reliance. That's precisely where the U.S. containment collides with China's domestic strategy. Meanwhile, the United States dominates frontier AI research, advanced semiconductor design, and deep venture capital ecosystems. If the next global growth wave is driven by AI and automation, then productivity leadership becomes decisive. Because AI is not just a technology shift, it is a multiplier on labor, capital, and military capability, and multipliers compound. China's population is shrinking. Its workforce is declining. The country has passed its demographic peak, fertility rates are dropping, and over the coming decades, the population is projected to continue to decline. Fewer workers supporting more retirees means lower baseline growth, unless productivity accelerates, potentially through advances in AI and automation. The United States, by contrast, maintains a younger demographic profile and sustained immigration inflows. Demographics do not determine destiny, but they shape the conditions of growth. China's growth relied heavily on property and infrastructure investment. That sector is now under structural stress. Projects are delayed, and in some cities, newly completed buildings sit unoccupied. In some areas, entire districts have been labeled ghost cities, vast developments built ahead of demand. High debt levels limit flexibility. The United States, however, is not overbuilding property. It's overinvesting in technology, capital flowing into AI labs, semiconductor labs, and advanced manufacturing. The growth engine is productivity, not construction. Higher output means higher revenues. Higher revenues mean higher defense budgets. China has rapidly modernized its military capabilities. But power is not only about hardware. It is about coalition depth. The United States operates an extensive global alliance network. From Europe to Asia, NATO integrates dozens of advanced economies under a collective defense umbrella across the Pacific and Atlantic. Aircraft carrier and air bases form a continuous presence. So, will China overtake the United States? It is possible, but it is no longer inevitable. The next 20 years will not be decided by headlines. They will be decided by which system compounds structural power more effectively. Productivity, demographics, capital, and alliances. And that race is still open, which means the future global order is not yet decided.